A wave of pro-Trump neo-Nazis just arrived in DC, and I think the reason they showed up will shock you. But we need to talk about why these neo-Nazis feel so empowered to show up in public now, and this, of course, is due to Donald Trump and his recent pardons. You see, when Trump pardoned the January 6th insurrectionists, he actually ended up pardoning a whole bunch of neo-Nazis in the process. And that, of course, tells them that he welcomes them in, which further encourages them to act out in public. But I don't think you realize just how bad it truly is. So let's take a look at this article that explains this more in detail, and then we'll get into why pro-Trump neo-Nazis just arrived in DC. Researchers from the University of Maryland documented over 50 far-right groups that answered Donald Trump's call to come to DC on January 6th to stop the steal, including the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Three Percenters, and various neo-Nazis and white supremacists who made up sizable portions of more than 1,500 people who were charged with federal crimes. The neo-Nazis pardoned Monday by Trump include Tyler Bradley Dykes, a former Marine who had previously been convicted of a felony for his role in the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. In July of 2024, Dykes was sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison for assaulting police with a riot shield. Prosecutors alleged that during the attack, Dykes gave a Nazi salute and yelled "Sig Heil, Hail to Victory." Over 1,200 people have been convicted for actions in the furtherance of Trump's coup. Nearly every defendant was charged with obstructing an official proceeding. Over 160 individuals were charged with crimes related to using a deadly or dangerous weapon to cause serious bodily injury to a police officer. Hundreds more were convicted of low-level misdemeanors such as disorderly conduct, trespassing or parading, and sentenced to probation or house arrest. Following Monday's order, the Department of Justice stopped pursuing cases against roughly 300 people, including some who were currently on trial. While the vast majority of those facing charges were pardoned, 14 high-level members of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boy militia groups had their prison sentences commuted. This includes admitted FBI informant Henry Enrique Torrio, former chairman of the Proud Boys, and Elmer Stewart Rhodes, co-founder of the Oath Keepers. Rhodes and Torrio were both convicted of several felonies, including seditious conspiracy, for their roles in the attack. Rhodes had been sentenced to 18 years in prison, while Torrio had been sentenced to 22 years. Speaking to media in Washington outside the DC jail on Tuesday, Rhodes thanked Trump for doing the right thing, claiming that he and his fellow convicted insurrectionists did not get a fair trial. Rhodes' top lieutenants were also released on Tuesday, including Kelly Meggs, leader of the Florida chapter of the Oath Keepers, who had previously been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Oath Keeper Jessica Watkins, previously sentenced to 8 years in prison, along with Kenneth Harrelson, David Morshell, Joseph Hackett, Edward Vallejo, and U.S. Navy veteran Thomas Cardwell, also had their sentences commuted. And here on screen are 6 more top-level Proud Boys that were commuted by Trump as well. And in fact, Joseph Biggs, like Torrio, is an admitted police informant and a fascist who enjoys close connections with Roger Stone, a longtime Republican political operative. In addition to being an honorary member of the Proud Boys, Stone has frequently employed Oath Keepers as private security, including on January 6th. So as I'm sure that you can tell, those pardons unleashed a lot of dangerous and unhinged groups and people. Now I think it's easy to understand how these neo-Nazis can feel empowered. And this, of course, led to a wave of them arriving in DC. And why are they arriving in DC today? Well, that's because there's a rally called the March to Life, and they wanted to attend. Just take a look at how many neo-Nazis there are heading to this rally. It's really insane.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. He's gone, bro.
Brandon, man. Here you go, young lady.
It's unsettling how comfortable these people feel being out in the open. This should be absolutely unacceptable in the United States. But you know what else is crazy about this March to Life rally? JD Vance actually spoke at this rally, which gave them another reason to attend. Just look at him lying about the government throwing pro-life people into prison.
With his return to office, no longer will the federal government direct FBI raids on the homes of people like Mark Houck and other Catholic and Christian activists who are fighting for the unborn every single day. And no longer will our government throw pro-life protesters and activists, elderly, grandparents, or anybody else in prison. It stopped on Monday, and we're not going to let it come back to this country.
But not only did JD Vance attend this rally, Trump also gave his own speech through a pre-recorded video that they played during this rally. Just watch as Trump takes credit for overturning Roe v. Wade.
Years ago, on the first anniversary of the disastrous ruling known as Roe v. Wade, that unconstitutional decision took power away from the states and the voters, kicking off 50 years of division and anger. But thanks to your tireless work and devotion across 5 decades, that historic wrong was set right 3 years ago. I was so proud to be a participant. 6 courageous justices of the Supreme Court of the United States returned the issue to the state legislatures and to the people where it belongs. It became a vote of the people. In my second term, we will again stand proudly for families and for life. We will protect the historic gains we have made and stop the radical Democrat push for a federal right to unlimited abortion on demand up to the moment of birth and even after birth. Think of that, after birth. And some people want that. Can you believe it? We will work to offer a loving hand to new mothers and young families, and we will support adoption and foster care. We will protect women and...
So this gives you a good idea of the kind of stuff that they're playing and doing during this rally. And as no surprise to anyone, it's all lies and manipulation to stir up their base. Between Elon Musk doing a salute to literal neo-Nazis showing up in public support of Donald Trump, we are heading down a dangerous path. And soon, I feel it'll be too late to recover from.